Namaste and welcome to Yoga Story Daily Dose of Yoga. We are continuing on with our hip series today, talking about the hip joint and its movement. So, the hip joint is a ball and socket joint. The head of our femur goes into our hip socket here, or the acetabellum on either side. And that allows the ball and socket joint, very similar to the shoulder, allows movement in multiple different planes or multiple different ways. So we can flex our hips. And there, I'm lifting the leg to flex the hip. You can also bend forward to flex the hips. You can find hip extension, or here, extending the leg back. Hip abduction, so bringing the leg away from the hip, and hip adduction, so from abduction, bringing our leg back to the hip. And then we also have this fun, nifty place where we can, move our leg forward and even cross the body here to further that hip adduction. So those are the different movements of our hip joint and what that ball and socket joint allows us to do in movement day to day and in our yoga practice. So play around a little bit with the movement of your hips, where you can go. You can even kind of take that into multiple different directions. Find hip flexion with a little rotation. So here, abducting and then bringing it back. As we break down the anatomy of the hip, that's a good opportunity for you to really focus on your hips when you're moving. When you're walking, notice how often you abduct, how often you adduct, and see if you can add some of those movements into your daily routine, how much you're extending to find that length. A lot of times we have that forward movement, right? We have all this flexion happening, which is tightening up the hips. So play around with extending the leg back and finding some extension, some balance of hip movement throughout your day. Thank you so much for watching, so much for listening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow as we continue on with our hip series on Yoga Story Daily Dose of Yoga. Peace.